Fuck yeah, dude. Loved it.
Right. That's the kind of shit I write.
That's good.
I'm not some big rock head or, you know what I mean? I just write mellow shit.
Rodriguez. What's
Hey.
going on, buddy? I'm glad that we could finally get this interview in and everything.
Mr. Shake
Sit there and
Robert.
talk with you and everything.
All right.
So we'll start off by asking you, what made you want to be a musician?
My whole family's musicians. My mother is number 5 of 10 siblings, and every one of them is a musician. And I wanted to be like my uncles because I looked up to them.
What did your uncles play?
Most of them played guitar and or sang. Vocalists. And my aunts played keyboard, strings, and also sang.
Okay. And was guitar really like is that your main go-to, or what's your main go-to?
Bass guitar.
Bass guitar.
It wasn't my first love, if that's what you're asking. My first love was drums.
Oh, okay.
I started playing drums when I was 4. And then when my family saw I was interested in music when I was 5, my uncle gave me some guitar lessons. And I just went from there, man. I've been playing ever since. Never put it down. A lot of people in their career, they say, oh, I quit for about 10 years and I come back. I've never quit playing.
So, being in the music industry for so long, how do you feel like the progression of fads coming back and leaving and coming back, how do you see that going on right now with basically the lack of mainstream radio giving, I guess, maybe new artists spotlight right now, and the artists more so from the past that were really big kind of breaking away from the labels altogether?
Yeah.
And
I
everything?
like the independent thing, but I think there should be more fairness in the industry where more people get to, have their stuff seen. Like, I've been on YouTube for 3 years and I've only got like 35 subscribers.
Right.
They're not putting it out there in a mix for people to see.
Right. So you don't feel like there's a good outlet for artists like yourself to put yourself more out there on the radio in that sense? Do you feel like it's a radio situation, or do you feel like it's a label situation?
Yeah, a lot of the labels, they don't want to pay anything. I mean, the actual artist is only getting percentages of a penny on the dollar. They're not even getting a whole penny on the dollar from the sales of their creations. And that's what's unjust about the music industry.
Right.
Basically, in my educated opinion, I've been there, done that. I've worked for cash. I've worked on a paycheck playing music. I've toured playing music, so I've seen a lot of different sides. I've been in the recording studio many times with different people besides my own stuff.
What kind of artists have you played with?
I played with, the last was Ike Willis from Frank Zappa. He's a singer from Frank Zappa.
Okay.
I played with Mike Rose. He toured with Carly Simon. He's the guy playing lead on You're So Vain at 19 years old. Now he's probably 72. I played with Mike Talley, the inventor of the Axis drum pedal. He toured with Jesus Christ Superstar when he was 17 years old. That's quite a feat.
Yeah.
Very talented musicians I've played with. Just so many people in the industry. Pee Wee Hayes, the big blues guy out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or Racine, Wisconsin. Plays a lot in Milwaukee, evidently, but it was great to play with him, and he loves me. We get along great. We play music very well together.
You're easy to get along with, so.
I try, and I try to educate. If somebody doesn't know something, I won't say, oh man, you don't know that. I'll say, oh, can I show you how can we do that? Or try to explain it to them instead of try to put them down for it.
Right.
And a lot of people don't take it that way, though.
Right.
You get a lot of people that their feelings get hurt because you try to show them something that that they don't, and they think they do, and they don't. And so there's a lot of that in the industry. Egos, basically.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. And you know what? Musicians, even at my caliber, are a dime a dozen. because there's so many people on this planet.
Exactly.
So for people to think that they're all that, they need to take a good hard look at themselves and see what's really going on in the big picture.
Definitely.
You know, you're just a minnow in the ocean, buddy. Then if you get noticed, it's because somebody wants to eat you.
Yeah.
So
while going back into being in the music industry for so long, has there been any sort of genre that you've stuck to more so than another?
yeah, blues.
Blues?
Because it's so full of feeling.
Is it like
And that's
like
what it's-
all blues, or is it a specific type of blues?
I like country swing blues and slow blues, Texas blues.
Okay, so like a Midwest Southern blues.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and has the West Coast been where you've resided your whole life?
No, I'm from Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. And
I've
what
been
made
here-
you leave there?
Oh, I moved here with my family
Okay,
26 years ago.
okay. And did you move out here to Oregon, or is it that you moved out to Arizona?
No, I lived in Arizona in the 80s.
Oh, in the 80s, okay.
Yeah, don't forget, I'm almost 62 years old.
For sure.
You know? So, I've lived a long life. I've been in the military. I've owned a roofing company. I had a remodeling company. Done a lot of things in my life, man. You know, I'm an old guy.
So you're a veteran?
I'm a veteran. Yeah.
Yeah. How long? When did you serve?
I served in the U.S. Army. I was at Fort Knox. I was a tanker, and I trained to be a drill sergeant.
Okay.
And I made it to E5 specialist, and then that was it. As far as
Okay.
I got, but I didn't want to go back.
Okay.
So, you know.
That's cool. So you've been in the military, in the music industry, have ran a business, have worked for businesses.
Fought in martial arts tournaments.
Wow. So what type of martial arts do you train in?
Many different kinds, but basically Shori-Ryu and Taekwondo
Oh, okay.
are the two main ones. But I've learned other stuff along the way, you know.
Right on,
Just
yeah.
from buddies and stuff, you know, that were in different styles.
Right. And did that passion come from being in the military?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I had the passion before that, but not the...
Drive?
I had the wanna, but not the gotta.
Okay. So after being in the military, it was more of a...
No, it was before the military that I started.
Yeah.
It was just more intense.
Yeah, it made it more... Because they do the boot camp thing, right? And
Oh, yeah.
they teach you certain methods of killing, certain methods of
13
like,
weeks.
discipline, and like reprogramming
Well,
almost.
13 weeks of reprogramming your body and your brain, and then another 7 weeks of advanced individual training.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of discipline.
It is.
Okay. So...
But it works.
yeah.
The system works, man.
Yeah, definitely. So, what do you think about all the stuff going on in Portland right now with the rioting downtown? And not to get too political, you know.
Well, I just think, you know,
with the
being
rioting,
an ex-military, I'm going to tell you, I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution. What they're doing is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
You know, you protest all you want, but when you wreck shit, now you're a criminal.
Yeah.
I have to say, that's all.
Okay. And so do you feel that what they're doing here is justified more so on the Black Lives Matter thing, or do you think that it's more of an Antifa thing, that they're trying to take advantage of a situation and of something that's supposed to be for
They're supposed to be anti-fascist, but they're doing exactly what a fascist does.
Yeah.
Is control someone's words with their actions, with violence.
Yeah.
That's what a fascist does. So.
Yeah, and
Just because somebody says they're something doesn't mean they are. Just like the guy who got attacked in downtown Portland, they kicked him in the head
Yeah.
because somebody yelled white supremacist. That's why they all attacked him.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem. These people are using their words to get their false point across because they're not getting their way.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of
It's-
videos online
Instead of going through government and voting the people in there you want, that stand for what you want, you can't just go around beating people up to get what you want, because you're still not going to get it.
Definitely. And I've seen a lot of videos online of, you know, colored women and colored men that are in the Black Lives Matter protest, actually calling out these Antifa people when they're burning stuff and breaking windows and starting a riot,
Right.
calling out stuff, giving people
But see, those people don't even understand what they're standing for.
Yeah.
Because the founders of Black Lives Matter are Marxists. So it's a false narrative. They have Black Lives Matter has not once talked about putting the father back in the black home.
Right. And
The family unit, putting back together the family unit. That's what makes people strong. Look at the Asian community. Everyone in the family goes to work, and they pay that for that one kid to go to college, and then he takes care of the family.
Yeah, it's very true. I've always said that too. That like Asian community, like
when you break up the
Asians are
family
very,
union, you break down the community.
Yeah, and Asians are very like tight. They're so tight. Like you go to like California, and they'll own like blocks. They'll buy their family members' houses. They'll help their other family members get houses.
My uncle had 5 houses on the same block.
Yeah, that's a big thing too.
We lived in at a different location. He lived on a 16.5-acre horse ranch, and we lived 3 houses away on a half-an-acre lot.
Right, and your family, where do they come from in the long run? Like
in the way, how far back? I mean, I have quite a history.
What is your like?
My
lineage?
grandmother, if I just go back to my great-grandmother was born in Spain.
Okay.
My grandmother was born in Spain. She moved to when she was a baby. She moved to Cuba. Then she moved to Mexico.
Wow.
By the time she was 3, she was in the United States. And her mother became a citizen, my great-grandmother, so she was American.
Okay.
Okay, from Spain.
Right.
And then my grandpa was born on this side of the border, so he's American. He was born in El Paso, Texas.
Okay, so with that...
That's on my mom's side.
Right.
Okay, my dad's side's the totally opposite.
Oh, really?
My dad is German, Dutch, French, Canadian, Irish.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I'm,
all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay.
All over Europe.
That's cool. That is like Spaniard. Yeah, very cool. I like that. I know a lot of people from Spain.
And my grandfather has a lot of Spaniard in him too, because a lot of the Mexican Indians, we have Mexican Indian in us, are real short. My grandpa was 6'3", like 180 pounds.
Right.
Tall and lanky.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
Not of the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of Spaniard to be that tall.
Yeah, exactly. So being basically a man of a darker shade of color in America,
I've been pulled over for driving while Mexican 100 times in my life.
Yeah, so
I'm probably exaggerating, but it's probably pretty close.
So do you feel like growing up here, and not knowing anything else, but loving, living in the States, loving your country and everything, fighting for your country, being dedicated to your country, wanting to entertain your country.
Yep.
So throughout all that stuff, have you ever felt like people have treated you wrongly just because of the shade of your skin?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Do you still feel
I was in a restaurant with a girlfriend a few years ago.
Okay.
At a Red Lobster, and she was a gorgeous redhead. I mean, drop dead gorgeous. And we went into Red Lobster, and there was about a 70-year-old Anglo man sitting in the booth behind us, and he goes, "Would you look at that? What a waste of white."
Ugh.
So yeah, I've been on that end of it too.
Yeah.
Just hey, what did I do to provoke you, buddy?
Yeah.
Show up here with my girlfriend.
Right. And do you feel like it could be from either upraising, or do you feel like it's like a lack of education?
It's taught.
Almost?
It's taught. It's 100% taught.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I'm a Baptist. I went to Baptist church. We had Filipinos, we had blacks, we had whites, we had Mexicans. I didn't know it. To me, we were just all church family. We were just people. We're just all different flavors. All God's children.
Mm-hmm.
We're all God's children. That's what I was raised.
Right. So then to see basically the evil.
I was picked on for hanging around with black kids. I was called the N-word lover.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
And I don't use that word.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, yeah, I've even said to you before, like, yeah, you know, growing up, my best friends were all of color and everything, and like it just made no sense to me with anything on that, and it still is very confusing to me, even knowing how that it's like something that people are taught and like raised to believe, and almost like you know, if your dad's voting a certain way and you're growing up, and as a kid you're just going to be like, okay, dad's voting this.
Well, that's how I was
the way
raised.
to go. Exactly. And but even with that, you know what I mean, it's not the same, because it's not like derogatory evil, I guess. I don't know what to say about it exactly, to not really push too hard, but like,
well, I was ignorant, and when I finally woke up, I didn't pick a party, basically.
right.
So I'm just for the Constitution.
Right. So that's cool. So did you ever do any like concerts or support events for military by chance, being ex-military yourself?
I belong to the Fraternal Order of Eagles.
Okay. What's that?
That's most of our members are family members of or were former members of military.
Okay.
And we believe that there's a higher being, and that everyone should work together to help each other. Now, I don't know what they're doing with the building right now, because the city's trying to run them out because they have a great location.
Right.
And they have a garage sale every Thursday, and it's all in the parking lot, and in the winter it's on the inside. We have like a big hall and a half. We have like a half-size hall and a full-size hall, and then we can open the door for the full-size one and make it extra big. So we have events there, like DJs and bands and things like that. And a lot of it's for raising money, not only to run the business there, there's a bar in there and food, but also to give back. Like my friend who's on the committee there does diabetic socks, and those are very expensive. They're like $20 a pair.
Right.
And he'll donate like 70 pair at a time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
that's cool. All right. And
I also not to cut you off,
No, you're
but I
good.
also support juvenile dermatomyositis. It's a disease that kids get, and it affects their joints, and it leaves them in extreme pain, and sometimes they can't even get up and go do anything.
oh, I never even heard of that.
So, like parents of a kid I know that has it, I've basically taken to anytime I do a concert or a benefit, I'm always going to put the word out there for JDM.
Awesome. Well, that's good.
So that
That's
people
good to
are
put out
aware
there.
that there are children that have this debilitating disease.
Yeah, definitely. Because I didn't even know about that ever. I never heard of that.
Well, we did a concert, and it was the young man that has it. He said, "I can't go out and play. Could you come play for me?" And so the concert is duly named "Come Play for Me" concert.
Oh,
at
that's
JDM.
awesome. Awesome. Well, hopefully we can get that out there.
We're not starting yet, right?
Oh no, we're recording. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. You know, it's good. It's good. Fuck yeah.
But can you pause it? I'm gonna grab a tuner.
Definitely. So picking back up because of the battery.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
back at the ranch.
Did you ever like watch The Simpsons being here? Did you ever relate? To living
right away.
Here with The Simpsons,
Right away,
and
the first
stuff like that.
episode.
Yeah, like the three-eyed fish and like some of the housing on like the trash and the street and shit like that. But how long have you lived in Portland?
26 years.
26
I
years.
moved here August 12th, 1994.
Right. And so you've been able to see from the 90s to now.
Yeah.
Like me. So seeing the population increase and what do you think about this tents everywhere, just everywhere, honestly everywhere?
I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's the city government isn't doing squat, basically, because it's getting worse. My boss, where we work, is real close to a major intersection in Portland, and all along the intersection, it used to be 3 or 4 tents every couple blocks. Now it's a whole mile down, and each one is like a village.
Yeah, like little bedrooms almost, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then,
sheets of plywood, tarps, like little houses built right on there.
right, and I mean, I've lived here for a long time, and I've actually, like, downtown, I've worked a lot downtown back in the day when my family used to run Bohemia After Dark. We had our office downtown, and I would see certain homeless people, you know, some very little, certain ones, and then
Yeah,
like
you can
now,
see the same ones over
yeah,
and over.
but like now growing up, going downtown as an adult, and I would walk around and I would talk to people off camera and just talk to people, and there's a lot of veterans, disabled veterans that are not even wanting to be in a, like they refuse to be in a tent. They'll sleep in a chair. They said they'll sleep in a chair under a bridge before they sleep in a goddamn tent, and they're trying to get help. And they're unable to get help.
And the VA isn't going to do anything.
Right, and it
so
seems
now,
like...
one good thing Trump just did was he made it okay for veterans to seek other insurance. Like if they can't afford insurance, they can get on Oregon Health Plan and get taken care of like now, instead of waiting 4 or 6 months to get in the VA.
Right, because I've actually had family trip and fall, and they were in the VA, and they served a war, and fell, and they needed help, and the VA said he's fine, send him home. We don't have any rooms right now, just send him home, he's fine, just monitor him. And he died because he was bleeding in his head, and they didn't check that, but they said they did.
Right.
And he was a really guy. I really liked that guy. You know what I mean? And that's something like we'll never get back. And I look back, and I met a guy, ironically, that he went by Doc also, and here in Portland, and he had one leg, and he was a field medic. Back in the day, real old guy. He was like in his 70s when I saw him 5 years ago, and he was getting picked up by families. Basically, he said the VA won't help him, but the people that live here, that are from here, that have been here long enough, help him, and they help people willing to get help. Like we help each other almost as a community. And I feel like in almost all our communities, even in around all the states, in my opinion, they try to help those around them. But a lot of these people that are coming here in tents that are not wanting the help are because they're not from here. And I just don't understand, I guess.
Well, they're coming here for the drugs.
Right.
A lot of them, and mentally ill are coming here because there's like-minded people to hang out with.
Right. Do you think that there's like some sort of thing going on right now? Because I know in Los Angeles and Skid Row, it's pretty bad too, and it had been bad at like we talked about.
Down there, it's like every man for himself on Skid Row. The homeless here in Portland, from what I've seen, gather in clusters and protect their territory.
Right. almost like little militias, right?
Right.
And I've heard of them being camp establishments in the forest that govern themselves. And that brings back a whole militia thing and everything, and you know what I mean?
It takes me back to 1978, San Antonio, Texas. Actually, not in San Antonio, but outside San Antonio. There's a place called Travis Lake, and it has an upper lake and a lower lake. They're like next to each other. There's Upper Travis and Lower Travis. Upper Travis is a resort.
Right.
Lower Travis, you can't see from Upper Travis anywhere. And that's a good thing. There's a lot of woods down there and rock and everything. Because it's basically, they call it Hippie Hollow, where people live there.
Right.
And this was happening back in the 70s. There was homeless people living in the woods.
Right. But do you think, like, even now, you see a lack of hippie?
Yeah.
In Portland, and we have an increase of druggie. If to not use the word wrongly,
Right.
But
Sure.
But yeah, and in the same sense of, like, you know, there's heroin drop boxes everywhere you can find. The guy on the Max, you remember that guy that slit the throats of the
Sure.
3 people? I was actually on that Max with my children.
I worked for the lady that actually called the cops on him.
Yeah, you know, and it's real crazy to see the crazy go from A to Z in that 20-year span here.
Yes, it has.
On, like, back in the day, you would say, if someone were to call you, say, from Wisconsin and say, so how's the murder rate out there? You'd be like, what murder? You know what I mean? There really isn't murder.
Compared to Chicago.
Yeah, there's no murder here, though, really.
Yeah.
You know, they're really... And now they're... You know, we have insane gang violence, and the insane homeless rate, and with the homeless, it's burglary, and they rob people, rob stores. They do whatever they can, like
Sure.
Personal property, like your car and such. But back in the day, it was far to none.
And where I lived, I grew up at 40 miles south of Milwaukee, 75 miles north of Chicago.
Right.
So right in the middle, basically. And we never had anything like that.
Right. And like,
Nothing.
and now you look at it, it's kind of like chaotic, right? And yeah, that's like what big thing that people always talk to me about is, what do I think about the defunding word? And I feel like it's not a defunding thing that we need to do, as much as the police just need more training. Because, like, of course, as your experience, as you said, you've been fucked with by officers just
big
because
time.
of skin color in general.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not only a lack of training, but a lack of funding into the police department, able to evaluate these people. Like, what is their
Right.
upbringing? What
6
are they
months
doing?
and you can become a cop.
Yeah, I've been told that
That's
it's
crazy.
easier to be a police officer than it is a manager at a store.
Or a hairdresser takes 2 years.
Yeah, it's easier to be a police officer than a lot.
And if you do 8-hour-a-day courses, you can do it in 13 months.
Right.
But it takes 2 years to become a hairstylist.
And I found, like, the best officers I've ran into are basically veterans, like older veterans that are...
Because they know the Constitution. They know
Yeah.
your rights. And the other ones that don't know
Right. And it's
try
like
to
these,
abuse
like,
their
little rookie
power
thing.
for, what's the lack of a better word, for not having the knowledge.
And like a weird
And
ego.
they just want to
too,
use
no?
their ego,
Yeah.
power trip. And
And
if you don't know, he's a public servant. You're supposed to take his word. He's not supposed to lie to you,
Right.
but they can.
Exactly.
Under the color of law, they can lie to you, but you can't lie to them.
Yeah, it's very tit for
Unfair
tat.
playing field for the citizens.
Exactly. And America wasn't ever built to be...
They're law
white.
enforcement. They're not, they weren't hired to make up things to put people in jail. But evidently they were when they started opening the prison for profit.
But doesn't it feel almost like a factory
It is.
setting of, like, they'll arrest you and they'll know this person's
Is
not
he
going to be
worth
able
going
to get out.
prison, or is he going to be able to get out?
Well, they'll say, well, he can't get out, so we're going to arrest you, process you. That's a charge. So I hope you have the money for that. And then you're going to have to go see a judge, and you're probably going to get a ticket. You hope you have the money for that. And depending your attitude and everything like that, your background, you might have to take some classes and pay some extra fees. Hope you have money for that. And the lawyer we're going to give you actually goes to lunch with the judge you're on and your DA that's prosecuting you. They actually go to lunch together.
Yeah.
And your lawyer we appointed you to wants you to take the deal. Because the deal is...
You pay this money.
And it's like a factory almost,
Yeah,
like a setting. And then if you're, as long as you're paying them, they seem to act like, seem to act very, don't worry about it, you'll be off of this. Just act like it's a 2-year plan of getting better on yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, huh.
And then now your name gets generated and goes into the police file. And if somebody on there doesn't like what they see, now all of a sudden you're a terrorist threat and you can't even fly to go see your brother in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because you can't get on an airplane.
Yeah, and getting off of a terrorist watch list.
And it could have been over a
insane.
traffic ticket.
Yeah, terrorist watch lists are insane. It's really hard to get off of them, and the way they treat you. Even as the light, pale skin, as possible as you can, they treat you like you're going to blow the plane up.
Yeah.
And that's just
With shampoo.
Watch list. Yeah. And that sucks. Yeah, it really does suck.
And they do treat people different because of their color. What they're doing is they're using this color thing for a political gain, is all the left is doing. Because when Timothy McVeigh, a white guy, blew up a federal building, they blew him up. He's now dead.
Right.
They executed him. When the rioters attack a federal building, they cheer them on that they're peaceful protesters, and they're not.
Right. There is definitely a big
There are
fine
peaceful
line.
protesters.
Definitely a fine line, though, between the peaceful and the not peaceful. And I mean, I've experienced very recently, even being downtown, a peaceful side.
I won't go down there at
a non-peaceful side at the same time.
Yeah.
And even the protesters themselves, I've seen clashing from that.
Yeah.
Of non-peaceful and
They
peaceful.
said I won't go downtown, not because I'm scared, but because I don't want to deal with stupid people's bullshit.
Exactly. I mean, I go down, like I said.
People put themselves in situations.
Yeah, like I said, I go downtown because while I'm not a part of the protest, I'm not going to let it stop me from living my life. If I wanted to go, like, I love Fogo de Chao, and if I want to go to Fogo de Chao, I'm gonna go to Fogo de Chao. And my family doesn't like going downtown because of everything going on. But like, you'll see me, like, I grew up in the music industry and festivals and stuff where like people are burning me with their cigarettes because I'm a little guy trying to get through and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like these kind of things, when someone's like drunk and screaming at me, I see it as the dive bar with the friend my mom had that was having a concert at the time, and the guy was drinking and he just got bounced. You know what I mean? That's in my head. That's how I see it. And like Seattle had that whole blockade, and I feel like it's almost moving towards us because I didn't know that Portland's been going on for so long now, the protest.
81 days now?
Yeah, non-stop protesting. So it's just really weird.
It's getting ridiculous.
Definitely. It's real weird. And and then...
if people want peace, they need to be peaceful.
Definitely.
You don't get peace from being violent.
Definitely. And... you
don't put out a fire with gasoline.
Yeah, definitely. And
That's what they're doing.
And it seems like they, though, it's
just in my humble opinion.
And then, but it also seems like, with the fire, because undertrained police officers that have no combat training whatsoever are getting thrown in with SWAT gear, and basically it's like, if you've ever played a video game like Call of Duty or something, and you're in the plane and they're like prepping you, the AI's prepping you like, these bastards have been slaughtering this village, you need to get the fuck down there and slaughter them. I feel like they're kind of going out there with that.
And you don't even know the moves yet.
Yeah, and they're kind of going out there like, and then these other people are like, shit. And then the one peaceful protester is getting in the middle of it, getting fucked up
because he's trying to stop it.
Yeah, and it's like, and I saw a combat medic guy just going out there going like, you guys didn't serve, you don't know the Constitution. This is fucked up. These guys are the ones that need to be arrested, not these guys. And then the cop goes up to him and just starts pepper spraying him in the eyes. And he's going, fuck, and he's still talking because he's like, this ain't shit. This ain't shit. I've been in battles, and I'm a combat medic. This ain't shit.
I went through the gas chamber many times.
Yeah.
Where you're in a room full of CS gas.
Ah.
Not in the street getting it on you. In a room full of it.
Shit.
Where it's so thick you can barely see the guy next to you.
Yeah.
And you have to take your mask off when you're in there.
That's insane.
So you know what it feels like.
Wow.
That's part of your training.
Wow. Man, that's crazy.
So yeah, I've been hit with CS gas many times.
Yeah, no fun, right?
Not at all. Any part of your skin it touches burns.
Yeah, and how is that? But I just don't understand how that's a way to...
and it interrupts your sinuses, and your eyes water, and you have snot coming out of your nose down to your knees.
Yeah, and why would we want to do that to our citizens though?
And then it's hard to inhale.
Why would and we train our military to know how to deal with that and know what it's like to basically, in my opinion, to be like, this is the effects of this.
Right,
like
exactly.
Almost like a kid getting caught with a cigarette. The dad's like, oh, you want to smoke some cigarettes?
Smoke a pack?
Yeah, and then you're sitting there like, fuck cigarettes for a while, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's almost like what the police need is training on, like, yeah, the batons are cool and they're effective, but you could kill a motherfucker, and this is cool and effective, but this would also fuck someone's life up.
Yeah.
This is the law, but there's exceptions to the law on certain ways. Same way that the police treat lying. And then you can't lie to them. There's certain exceptions. There's a law, but there's certain exceptions, and there's the choice. I feel
think
like
the law needs to change, that they need to be held accountable.
Right, and
they're not held accountable. What you do is you file a report on them because they abuse your rights, and it goes to their senior officer, and their senior officer throws it in the circular file.
Right,
and it never even goes on his record.
Right, and I've seen officers, even to go back into the musical note, I've seen officers harass festivals just because of color of the festivals. If it's like a blues festival, a hip hop festival, back in the day, I mean, I know my family did a hemp festival here, and they had the waterfront park rented and licensed and everything, and they legally had to pay officers to be there on horses. And one of the officers, I don't know the name, took one of the people at the festivals, which was a hippie with long hair smoking cannabis, took him by the hair because he was on the wrong side of the park while on a horse, and dragged him to the other side of the park and say, stay on your side of the park, hippie. And like that, I see things like that, and I go, man, this is... Whoa, sorry. I say, man, this is our people, and I don't really get where that comes from. And like I guess it comes from how people are raised. Like we said, people are raised with that hate. But is it also, do you think that the police officers at the same time, because lack of training and because lack of experience, they look at the other officers that have been in there so long, and those officers know how to do it this way, and they're going, well, look, son, kind of like an SVU episode of corruption.
Well, when they try to coerce you into incriminating yourself,
right,
and then tell you if you don't answer their questions that it's you're impeding their investigation and you can be charged for that, which is not true. The Constitution says you can plead the Fifth Amendment at any time, and you do not have to help them in any way to help them in their investigation to incriminate yourself.
Right. It's very true, very true. And
that includes giving them your name if you haven't committed a crime.
And also, what do you think about the whole, how it's been progressing in the cannabis in America at this point, especially in, I guess, here where we live in Oregon?
I probably don't know enough about it because I don't really care one way or the other. All I know is I never thought it would be legal in my lifetime, and I'm just blessed that it is because it helps me. I don't take no anxiety pills. I'm just like the next guy. I have problems.
Right.
And I just feel normal when I smoke it.
Right. And do you think that like our political system, even here, local governor and mayor, could take a note on the cannabis being so non-harmful, non-addictive, so beneficial, and try to help maybe our local drug addiction homeless with maybe, rather than giving them a source of free pharmaceuticals, maybe free cannabis.
Right.
Since it's a plant, it doesn't need to be, again, the top brand.
Right.
But just the offer to get someone off of that. I've known people that have gotten off of meth and heroin, and cannabis has been the reason too. And they didn't think
awesome.
that it could be, again, legal. And it became legal, and they were like, dude, it's legal. A lot of jobs are starting to recognize it being a legal thing. And the progression of it has just been amazing. You know what I mean? Again,
I think it's a wonderful thing.
Again, being able to just go to a store, it's almost like going to a Carl's Jr.
Even when it was illegal, that was one of the reasons I moved to Oregon. Was I had a sister-in-law out here, and she came back there to visit, and she brought some Northern Lights, and it was probably like 33%, and we was like, I'm there. So I'm here.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Well, I guess, yeah, we'll wrap it up right there. You know,
All
it was
right,
great
brother.
talking to you, Doc.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you for jamming for us. Thank you for talking to us and giving your opinion on all these things.
Various
I hope.
things.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't too.
I'm old, but it doesn't mean I'm wise.
No, hey, you
I
know,
try.
a lot of experiences
I
though.
try.
Thank you for sharing with us and everything.
Sure. All right, I'm ready.
You good?
I wrote this for my buddy's dog. This is called Joe's Dog. She's a good girl, but you don't see. She means everything in the world to me. Don't believe what you heard. Take my word, she's a good girl. She's a good girl, won't complain. But don't you leave her tied about in the rain. Don't believe what you heard. Take my word, she's a good girl. What would I do if she ran away? I'd probably just go insane. Don't you see she's the one for me? That's why I'm keeping her all to myself. Girl, she a delight. You know she'll keep both my feet warm at night. Don't believe what you heard. Take my word, she's a good girl. Don't believe what you heard. That's absurd, she's a good girl. Don't believe what you heard. Take my word, she's a good girl. Good girl.
Nice. And real quickly, where can people find you?
At Doc Rodriguez on YouTube.
Right
It's the
on.
one with the big circle standing in front of a bunch of guitars. Thank
Right
you.
on, man. Thank you so much.